Hi, this is Travis Shaw with the Virginia Piedmont Heritage Area, coming to you from the final stop in today's exploration of the historically African American village of St. Louis. Now, I'm here in the heart of southern Loudoun County, and we really can't talk about the history of this area without talking about the importance of the equestrian industry, not only economically, but also culturally. And much of that is due to the actions of one man in the 19th century, Richard Henry Delaney. Delaney lived just west of what is now the modern village of St. Louis at his estate of Welburn. And in 1840, he is going to establish the Piedmont Foxhounds, one of the earliest established fox hunts in the entire United States. He is going to follow that up just 13 years later in 1853 with the establishment of the Upperville Colt and Horse Show, one of the oldest and longest running horse shows in the entire United States. It's a horse show that continues to run annually up until this day. In fact, it starts the first week of June, so we'll probably be out there a little later on this week exploring the Colt and Horse Show. But this is very important to Colonel Delaney's philosophy. You know, he wants to improve the breeding stock of horses in the southern Loudoun and northern Fauquier area, not just for work, but for other uses, including fox hunting, recreation, racing. This philosophy is going to continue into the 20th century, especially in the early decades of the 20th century, as this area becomes known as the epicenter of American hunt country, Virginia hunt country. And that is going to bring a number of wealthy folks from up north, from the major cities on the eastern seaboard, who come out to this area, drawn to the area by the equestrian sports that are on offer and by the quality of horses that this area is renowned for. And that is going to include Catherine Elkins Hitt. Catherine Hitt is a wealthy socialite born in Manhattan, raised in Washington, D.C. Her father is an influential senator from West Virginia, and so she really is brought up in the cream of Washington society. One of her very best friends is Alice Roosevelt, daughter of the president, and she is going to take an interest in horses and in equestrian sports, and like many of her contemporaries in Washington society, she is going to come out to the Middleburg area in the early 20th century, and she is going to establish herself as one of the premier kind of movers and shakers in this high equestrian society. And she is going to, in the early 1920s, establish the Middleburg Training Center just outside the village of St. Louis. And that is where I'm standing now. As you can see, it's a pretty substantial facility. We have a training course directly behind me, kind of over my shoulder. There's a number of stables. This facility is going to earn a reputation as one of the premier training facilities for thoroughbred horses throughout the 20th century. And many of the renowned trainers, the breeders, the people who work directly with the horses here are going to be members of the African American community from St. Louis. They are going to earn a reputation as being really some of the most effective and some of the most important and influential trainers when it comes to actually raising and training and breeding these horses here at the Middleburg Training Center. And that kind of esteem is only going to increase as the 20th century goes on. In 1954, this facility is going to be purchased by the famous philanthropist Paul Mellon, who had such a tremendous impact on this area, on northern Fauquier and southern Loudoun. And so this area continues to kind of grow in importance, particularly under Paul Mellon's leadership. The training course here, according to one equestrian historian, served as the primary, elementary, and secondary education for some of America's most famous thoroughbred horses before they continued on their careers in racetracks all across the country. The area, as you can see, is still used today. The Middleburg Training Center is still a active training center for equestrian sports. In fact, there were some folks out here riding behind me just a little bit earlier before the rain passed. So again, still an important cornerstone of the St. Louis community and of the Southern Loudoun community. So I thank you guys for joining me on this exploration of the village of St. Louis. I hope that as you pass through Southern Loudoun County, you might take a little detour up here to St. Louis. It is one of the best preserved examples of these post-Civil War Reconstruction era African American villages here in Northern Virginia. A fascinating story. A story that, again, as I said, these traditions still live on today. The tradition of equestrian sports, the traditions of the church and the schools here in the community, all very important part of the preservation story here in Southern Loudoun County. So I hope you get a chance to visit St. Louis one of these days, and I hope that you will continue to follow us here at the Virginia Piedmont Heritage Area.